HipHopSince1987.com.
What's going on? It's your boy E-Money with a music legend, Jimmy Iovine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I like those words. I'll take them.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Now we're here to talk about the Defiant Ones, an amazing docu-series you and Dr. Dre partnered up with HBO to do. I was just telling you, the beginning of it was so dramatic, talking about...
Should have been there.
Yeah, you know, I can only imagine talking about, you know, almost losing the Apple deal. I want to ask you, was it your idea to start there? And if it was or if it wasn't, what made you guys
Allen Hughes made this film. Dre and I did interviews.
Okay.
And we just helped for accuracy. We had nothing to do with the film, you know, editing it, what went first, what went second. It was really Allen, and it was Allen's idea to do the film, and he had a vision for it. And I would have never thought of doing a documentary with Dr. Dre. I was going to do something on Interscope, and he was going to do something on his own. But as soon as Dr. Dre said he was ready to talk, I was in.
Okay. Now, what do you think it was about this project that made Dre so comfortable to open up at the level?
I think it's where Dre is in his life right now. I think that he was ready. And this came along, and Allen, he trusted Allen, and he decided he was going to do it. And yeses don't come out of Dre's mouth that often. So when he said yeses, I said, you know, I'm not going to be the guy hanging this thing out, you know. So I said, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Easter Sunday, 1973. That was a part in the docu-series that really hit me. You tell the people what happened.
Well, what happened was I was a you call him a general in recording studios. There's a guy that, you know, has a little cart. He goes around, make sure there's enough tape in the recording studio, make sure there's razors and there's grease pencils and there's, you know, pads and paper and microphones you set up and all that, and you help the assistant with the microphones. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. And what you try to do is sort of learn something. This way you can get in the studio. Right. So I was doing that, and on Easter Sunday, because I'm from Brooklyn, I'm Italian, I'm Catholic. The owner of the studio, Roy Cicala, who was this brilliant recording engineer, and John Lennon was his client, and they called me up on Easter Sunday, 1973, and he said, "I want you to come in today to answer the phones. We have a session with John." I said, "Absolutely." So I go and I tell my mother, and my mother starts going bananas. It's Easter Sunday, your cousins are coming over, your uncles, your aunts, you're going to church. I said, I'm going to work. I said, because I'm going to work. You never know. I'm going to work. I'm going to work every time they ask me to go to work. And I went to work, and when I walked in, they started laughing. They said, we just wanted to see if you would come in on Easter Sunday, see how committed you are. We want you in with us. And they gave me a shot at second engineering on the album, and that led to everything else in my life.
Do you feel like that was the turning point engineering for John Lennon?
That was it, man. That was my moment. I said, okay, you know, and I went, and having gone in those circumstances, I felt really good about, you know, and I always used it in my life. Like, I always go that extra yard, like when somebody said, well, why don't you go see when I had a label, why don't you go see a band in Europe or something, I would always go, because you never know. Put the work in, you know, go that extra mile, you know. When the lazy button hits, you know, just say, I got one more rep.
Get it going. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Patti Smith, she said something about you in the docu-series that I found very intriguing. She said she always felt like your mission was to get the rest of the world to see what you were seeing. And that kind of came as a theme throughout. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I do agree with that. Looking back, I really agree with it. What it is that I felt, what could I bring to the table? These are some of the greatest lyricists, greatest musicians in the world. What can I bring? I said, I could bring that I can be as enthusiastic and as serious about their music as they can. So once you've gotten to that point, now what I want is I want everybody to hear it. I want everybody to see it and hear it And that's why I started Interscope, you know, because I want people to, I want to find artists and let the world hear them. You know, when I heard Dre and Snoop, and, you know, there was no gangster rap or whatever it was anywhere in the world. We just said, look, we're going to blow this thing everywhere in the world, blow this everywhere. It's just going to happen, you know? And we put everything we had into it, but that's what it's about. It's understanding the artists you're with, committing to them, and then just going.
Now, even in your answer, you made a transition from an engineer to a music businessman.
Yeah, well, I went to producer first.
Producer.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, Springsteen, he said about you, said, you know, Jimmy has this ability to say, you know, I'm great here, but I can also be great over there. And that's kind of what I saw watching it. How does it feel to be able to say, you know, I did the producing and now I'm doing deals with Apple, Chrysler, I can dominate different industries?
Well, you got to be able to pivot, you know, and it's all about fear. The whole documentary is about fear and harnessing it. And I think that one of the biggest issues right now with young people is that there's a lot of fear. And, you know, and to overcome fear is a very challenging thing, but it's a very powerful thing, because if you do conquer it, it's a jet engine. You get it behind you, and every time you see something and you're afraid, you just go instead of stop.
Okay. Kind of like the Tony Robbins, Unshakable.
I guess.
Yeah.
He's much taller than I am.
Now, another thing that intrigued me was your relationship with Suge. I had no idea that, you know, you guys were that tight and you were kind of his mentor. What was it like, you know, seeing him grow and then kind of seeing him?
You know, not everyone has the tools to pull themselves out. He had an extraordinary career. He's a really talented guy. And I was really sorry to see it, but he just, you know, he wouldn't take the advice in the end, and he just kept going, involved with the wrong people, and it's a shame what happened. It really is. But I liked all those guys at Death Row. I was on their team.
Right. Now, you always said Interscope was there to support the artist. How hard was it with a roster like Tupac, Marilyn Manson, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg?
Well, they were brilliant. It's easy to support brilliant people. If they get in trouble here and there, well, that's something you have to hope they overcome. But the fact is that their brilliance, Trent Reznor is brilliant, and Pac, and these guys were really talented people. So we were trying to have Atlantic Records in the 70s, where they had the Stones, Led Zeppelin, you know, Aretha Franklin, and Ray Charles. So we had Marilyn Manson, Trent, Pac, Snoop, and Dre. So we thought we were doing something incredible. We didn't realize that it was so powerful that it did cause an explosion.
Well, I have one last question, because that's all I have left. Time is coming to an end, or let's say it's a time far from now, right? And there can only be, this is going to be a hard question, only be 3 pieces of music that Jimmy Iovine can leave for the world. Okay,
let me ask you a question. Am I alone?
Say it again.
Am I alone?
Are you alone? No, you're not.
My wife?
No, you know, you're no longer here. You're no longer here. You can choose. You can choose today to leave 3 pieces of music.
Oh, okay. You know, I did
future.
That you know, I really did that actually once.
Okay.
I worked on with Carl Sagan on the Apollo record that went up. That's still I just exited this universe and went to another universe. It was on Voyager, not Apollo. It was Voyager.
Okay.
And it was the history of the Earth. But anyway, getting to this question.
Okay.
So this is my second time doing it. I would say I'd have to put Sgt. Pepper. I'd have to put Chuck Berry. And that kind of covers a lot of stuff. So, you know what? I'd put Frank Sinatra.
Me and my son listen to a lot of Sinatra.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It's your boy E-Money, signing out with the legend, Jimmy Iovine, HipHopSince1987.com.
HipHopSince1987.com.